You know that moment when everybody's sitting around the table and there's laughter and clinking glasses, and your aunt tells that same story that she tells every year, and he's right there, all charming and funny and helping in the kitchen just enough to get credit for it. And everybody thinks, what a great guy. And you're smiling too, but your stomach's in knots. You're laughing, but you keep your eyes scanning the table for signs of danger. He's going to flip out. How much has he had to drink? How loud is he getting? Are the kids saying too much? And you pass those mashed potatoes like you're passing a friggin' grenade. Careful, polite, pretending that you're not terrified that he's going to blow up. You can feel that fake smile glued to your face because if you don't keep smiling, he'll make you pay for ruining the mood. You can feel every muscle in your body working overtime to keep the peace while everybody else gets to relax and be comfortable in a house that doesn't even feel safe to you because you know that when everyone leaves, he's going to punish you for something. Comment, a look, the way you carved the turkey, doesn't matter. He doesn't ruin Thanksgiving by flipping the table. He ruins it by controlling who gets to feel comfortable at it. And today we're talking about how narcissists ruin Thanksgiving, not always with drama, but with control, performance, and manipulation. Now, I'm Lisa Sonni. I'm a toxic and abusive relationship expert, and I help women recover from emotional abuse and trauma bonds and rebuild confidence and just stop accepting crumbs in the name of love. If you've ever had to pretend that everything's fine while you're falling apart inside, hit subscribe because this one is for you. Let's start with the performance, okay? Narcissists treat holidays like a public relations event. It's not about gratitude or family, it's about optics. Suddenly he's helpful and charming and so good with the kids. He's laughing with your mom, he's telling jokes, maybe he's carving the turkey with all that fake humility, and you're standing there looking at him thinking, who is this man? He doesn't even have to be good, right? He just has to look good. If he puts his arm around you in public, he's praised for being loving. And if you flinch, you're labeled cold. Women are expected to make men look good, right? Smile beside them, laugh at their jokes, validate their stories, but you've become an accessory to his reputation. You're just a prop in the family photo that proves that he's a nice guy. Men are applauded for showing up, and women are expected to hold everything together even when they're breaking. This is the version of him that everybody loves. The same people who say things like, you're so lucky to have him, while you're silently calculating how many hours until it's over. This is his friggin' PR tour, okay? That's what the holidays are for. He's not celebrating, he's campaigning. And the goal is simple: maintain the image of being the good guy. If he can convince everyone that he's decent, then when you break down or you pull away, you're the unstable one, right? You're the difficult wife, you're the ungrateful girlfriend. He gets sympathy, you get side-eyed. This is image management disguised as family togetherness. And the emotional toll of playing along is brutal. It is so brutal. And this is what people miss. The sabotage doesn't usually start on Thanksgiving Day, it starts days before. He'll pick fights over the smallest things: what time dinner is, who's coming, what you're cooking. He'll criticize every plan. He'll chip away at your confidence, make sure that you're exhausted before anyone even arrives. Maybe he forgets to pick up something essential, right? And then he blames you for being disorganized. Maybe he complains that you're taking the holiday way too seriously or not seriously enough. He'll accuse you of being controlling for simply just planning ahead, right? Because if you're emotionally worn out, you can't relax, you can't enjoy yourself, and then he looks like the calm one. If you host, he'll disappear until the guests arrive, and then he'll act like he's been helping all day. If you're going to go to your family's house, he'll guilt you for leaving him alone, or he'll sulk so hard that you almost cancel. He might even stir up conflict that morning, accuse you of not appreciating him. He'll say something mean. He'll act distant when you're trying to hold it all together. And by the time you actually take a breath and sit down to dinner, you are completely off balance. The goal is to destabilize you before the main event. And that way, when he's on his best behavior in front of everybody else, the contrast is going to make you look like the problem, right? And this is psychological engineering. He's been running this experiment for years. Now, then there's this double life, right? There's the version of him that your family sees versus that version that you actually live with, that private version. In public, he's affectionate, attentive. He's such a family man. But in private, he's cold or dismissive and just straight up cruel or mean. He'll make some cutting remark in the kitchen, but it's just quiet enough that nobody else hears it. You flinch and he smiles. Public image is not always just about ego, it is about control. If everybody believes that he's good, you're going to question yourself longer. The more that they adore him, the more trapped you feel. He knows it. He knows that everyone's going to be like, "Oh, really? He's such a nice guy. You're divorcing? I'm shocked." That's the part that messes with your head the most because you're literally living in two realities. One where he's the charming partner that everybody adores, and the one where you're constantly walking on eggshells. Everybody thinks you're so lucky to have him. You know better. He thrives in that gap because the bigger the difference between his public image and your private experience, the safer he is from accountability. Nobody believes the person who looks crazy next to calm. If there were an award for the most convincing performance of a decent human, that man would give an acceptance speech about how much he loves you, but then he would berate you in the car on the way home. And that's not an accident, it's a strategy. Now let's talk about attention, right? That's his favorite currency. Thanksgiving is supposed to be about family, right? Gratitude, connection, thankfulness, community. But to him, it's a competition. Who's getting the most praise, the most laughs, the most attention? And if the spotlight isn't on him, he's going to find a way to grab it. He might pick a fight right before dinner so that you're all rattled and distracted, or he'll dominate every conversation, right? He'll be interrupting, correcting, just joking, but always at your expense. And sometimes he goes quiet just long enough for everyone to notice. And you ask if he's okay. Well, now you're the one catering to him again. He sulks because the kids are laughing at something you said. He gets so quiet, and then you chase him for reassurance. He cracks a joke about your cooking to assert dominance, and then everybody laughs because it's easier than acknowledging the tension. And if that doesn't work, he'll play the martyr, right? I worked so hard this week. Nobody appreciates me. And then suddenly everyone at the table's comforting him. That's how abusers ruin the holidays, right? It's not always about destroying the event itself, although some will do that too, but by hijacking everybody's focus. It's not about the turkey, it's about control. He doesn't ruin Thanksgiving because he hates the holiday. He ruins it because he can't stand not being the center of it. And when it's over, the guests leave, the dishes are done, you did the dishes undoubtedly, and the smile finally slips. That's when the real damage actually lands. The mask comes off. He'll pick apart the whole evening, right? You embarrassed me. Your sister was rude. You didn't defend me. You made me look bad. He releases all of that tension that he held in during the show directly at you. It's like a pressure valve, right? He managed his image all day, and now he's purging the rage that he suppressed to pull it off. You're left wrecked and confused and ashamed for all the reasons that you can't even articulate. And maybe you lie in bed that night wondering if you imagined it all, because to everybody else, Thanksgiving was perfect. Your body feels like it's been hit by something, not bruised, just heavy, like you carried the whole day on your back. And the next morning you wake up and you start replaying it over and over in your head. Maybe you think you overreacted, or you were cold, or hey, you were the problem after all. By the time Christmas rolls around, you've convinced yourself it wasn't that bad because pretending it's fine feels safer than fighting for reality. That's why survivors dread the holidays, not because of what happens right at the dinner table, but because of what happens before and after. The crash, the blame, the withdrawal, silence, the way this tension just like hangs in the air, right? It's the manipulation and the performance and the punishment that always follows. So if you find yourself just dreading the holidays, it's not because you're negative. This is a time when so much pressure has been added. You have been through too many Thanksgivings that were emotional minefields disguised as family traditions. You were never the one ruining it. You were just surviving it. You were doing your best to keep the peace and protect the kids, protect the family, managing his moods. But calling this family doesn't make it healthy. It actually just makes it familiar. And the truth is, real peace feels quiet. It's not performative. It doesn't require you to perform gratitude while you're being devalued. It doesn't punish you for existing, right? It really doesn't. You get to walk barefoot in your own home and be yourself without fear. That's healthy. You don't have to keep surviving the holidays that break you. You actually can create ones that feel like home and happiness. And the moment that you stop participating in the performance, you can start to reclaim yourself. I used to spend entire holidays apologizing under my breath for things I didn't even do. I apologized for not staying up at all hours of the night on holidays. I apologized for not drinking enough. It's crazy. Now, if you're ready to rebuild your confidence and finally learn what peace feels like, join me and Dr. Peter Salerno in our 12-week Rise and Rebuild program because it's designed for women who are done walking on eggshells and ready to rebuild a life that is theirs again. The link's below in the description. And if this hit home, subscribe for more real talk about breaking free from abuse and reclaiming your life.